the block, as always, we create a new directory, presentation qubit. Now, in the qubit, we initialize a new qubit rather, not block. New qubit class. Let's call that chat. We can cut off this part for now, and this part. And we could say, Philo, what have we got? What are my use cases? I've got get groups, so get groups. Final, get messages. Final, get user by ID. Get user by ID. Final, join group. Final, leave group. Final, sorry about that. Capital L, leave group. And finally, we have final send message. Now we generate a constructor for this. Named argument constructor. And after the named argument constructor, we put a comma and replace our super initialization. Move this back to the top. What's the problem? Constant, oh, forgive me. No, don't forgive me. It's actually not my fault. It's the generator's fault, not mine. I haven't wronged you in any way, have I? Now we have to create the blocks for each of them, and we have to test them. So yet again, you've got another assignment. I'm going to walk you through mine when I'm done, but before that, pause the video and try to do it. I'm going to try and do it myself as well. So you are already big boys because you were Flutter developers. Right now, you're even bigger boys. You're the men and the women of society now, men of timber and caliber. So pause in your court actually. So go ahead and have fun with this. I'll see you when I'm done writing mine. I've written about almost all of them, except for the get groups and get messages, because they're streams. We're going to write those together because we've only been doing those for a short time. So loading messages. We've only been doing those for a very short time. So let's write the get groups first. So remember, they always start with void and not future void because we don't have to wait for anything to complete the stream. So our use case is a stream rather. Now we have void get groups. The first thing we do, as always, will be to emit a loading state. Which will be loading groups, I think. Yes, loading groups. Now after this, we create a subscription. How do you know the type of the stream subscription? So it's going to be stream subscription. It needs a type, and it's going to be nullable subscription. Now your stream subscription needs a type. You could go ahead and try to save this accord to the use case, and you can see the type that returns a stream either failure or list of group. We could copy this. We can paste that here. This is the type for our subscription, so we could go ahead and assign subscription to this. So the subscription will be equal to a call to the use case which returns a stream, and then we listen to that stream. Now the listener will return us a subscription, so we've essentially subscribed to the stream. Now in here you can leave this as event, but in the of what we've already got going. In order not to confuse you, we usually use result. So the result of get used by ID would be that, then we fold the result. So in that case, you could go ahead and switch this to the result, because this will actually return you either or, which is also the same type as these results that we've got so far. So you could go ahead, just to make things uniform in your code base, you can go ahead and use result. It will be result.fold, and it fold on the left will be a failure. So this is essentially the first part, which is the on data. As always, the on data, and after the on data, we will have the on error, which returns, I think, an error. And it always asks us for the type, which will be dynamic or object, if you so wish. But if you use an object, make sure the object is actually nullable. So on done, we also have an undone. And what are we doing? We cancel the subscription. Now on error, we can emit chat error right there, and we can error the toString. Then we subscription, which is nullable, dot cancel. So over here, there will be a comma and not a semicolon. Now on failure, we emit chat error with the failure.error message. On success, it returns a group of our a group's value, a list of groups actually. Now with those groups, we can emit groups loaded. Groups loaded, and that will take the groups that we just loaded. That's it. That's simply all we have to do, and it's screaming. Future should not be an async function. Oh, I'm so sorry. Now after that, we can do the same for void get messages. We can emit loading messages, and then we create a subscription, StreamSubscription. In our case, we can try and save this, make this nullable. Subscription will be equal to get messages, so it should throw an error so that we can see the exact type. So value of type either failure or list of messages. So that's it, failure or list of messages. So we get the stream and we listen, which returns get messages. The messages expects a group ID, so string group ID, and this also expects a group ID. Now we can listen, and with the result we can fold. So first off, on error, no, we're still in the result, so meaning we're on the undone. Now after undone, we have on error, where we emit a chat error, and undone, where we cancel the subscription essentially. Now that's done. Let's result.fold. Now we fold, and first we have a failure. We emit rather the chat error, the error state, with the failure.error message. For the other one, it will return messages. For this, we can emit messages loaded. Perfect. And that's it. Now it's in your court to try and test this class. See you when I'm done writing my own tests. I'm done writing my own tests, and while testing, I've just found out that I was using the wrong error message to display in here, because my test, I'm actually using the failure error message. In my qubit, I've gone and constructed my own error. Sorry, the failure error message rather. I've gone and constructed my own error. I totally forgot that we had error messages that we had constructed these to overtake writing them by default. So D failure, no, not D failure, failure dot error message. Simple as that. And this is my test. You can see my arrangement. And you can see my tear down, my test failure, which I'm going to use across failing tests, failure tests. And they're just simple block qubit, block tests, block tests, block tests. You'll find them in the source code. It should be pretty similar to yours. These ones are pretty standard. Now, after that, let's go ahead and do the stream test for our two streams. We haven't done anything with the streams yet. Send message. Yeah, that's it. So, group. The first one will be, was it get groups? Now, for the get groups, as always, let's copy, paste. Copy this. Not copying everything actually. Let's just copy that part, that bit, and we go back and paste it over there. No, chat qubit test. Still in the chat qubit test, yes. So paste this here. Now, the actual test should emit loading messages and messages loaded when successful. Doesn't have to be async, sorry. Also, no, we're not in a normal test, so this will have build rather. Thought I was in a normal Flutter test. Now for this, we can arrange that when we get messages, we're in get groups rather. So loading groups, groups loaded. We can assert that when a call to get groups is made, it doesn't take anything actually. So then answer with a stream.value, and it'll be your right hand side. We'll create some messages at the top. So some groups at the top. So T groups will be equal to group model dot empty. And over here we have T groups. And then we'll return the qubit, the chat qubit. After that, we act. It returns the qubit to us, and we can use the qubit and say qubit.get groups. And we expect that qubit will emit in this order. It emits first a getting groups or loading groups. And right after that, it will emit a groups loaded with T groups. And we can verify. Now verification will be for I actually wanted to copy that one at the top, but we verify that get groups was called without anything, and it was called once alone. And we verify no more interactions with get groups. Let's run this test. It should pass. So again and again, we're breaking the rules of test-driven development. We should not do the implementation before the testing. But we're doing this because of the tutorial. So we don't get confused, not you, us. We all don't get confused. Where's my block test? Block test starts from right here. and it ends here. So the second block test will be, can we paste? Yes, we can paste. Should emit loading groups and chat error when unsuccessful. The build will be pretty much, let's copy over everything actually. Everything will be pretty much the same. However, over here we return a left server failure. And we've got get groups, loading groups, chat error with tfailure.error message. That's it. Perfect. Now you can go ahead and try for get messages. Same thing, I'm going to do that. I've written my get messages and this is what it looks like. I've arranged messages and the argument for the group ID. Over here, when get messages gets called with any argument at all, then answer stream.value write key messages, and we act by calling get messages, and we expect loading messages and messages loaded, and then we verify. The same over here except for the chat error. Now that's it for the queue, but next up, let's go and build out the UI for our chat feature.